Hello, welcome to the Dream of a Sunday Afternoon in Alameda Park discussion. And I'm Mrs. Morin, and I'm here with
Mrs. Wyatt.
Let's go ahead and begin with the title. It's right here, Dream of a Sunday Afternoon in Alameda Park. And the artist is Diego Rivera. The historical period is modern. And the technique used here, this is a mural. So it was painted on a wall.
Yes, in a hotel.
Yes, the patron is the Hotel del Prado. Let's go ahead and talk about, this was painted in a surrealistic style.
Yes.
And it focuses on a very common subject matter of surrealism, which is dreams. This is not depicting any one thing.
No.
It's depicting kind of a series of events. So you can think of this as a dream that's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and talk about the intended purpose. Would you like to talk about that, Miss Wyatt?
So we kind of talked about it and decided that it was to celebrate Mexican heritage, but it was also to criticize Mexican heritage. So he wasn't looking at it just as looking back from the past and that everything was wonderful. He's definitely giving a critical eye.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and when we look at where the criticism is maybe the harshest, is right in the center here. And we see this figure here, known as a La Catrina, right? And Catrina was the nickname in the early 20th century for an elegant upper-class woman who was dressed in European clothing. And what's really intriguing about this person is that she is wearing this feather boa that is in the form of a serpent. She is essentially wearing a god for the indigenous people around her neck as a trophy. So that's really stomping on Mexican culture there. And this right here is what Quetzalcoatl is the name of the god that is the feathered serpent. And he essentially was responsible for kind of like the creation of people in Aztec culture. So, oops, let me go back to the right one. So here you have her in the middle. She's dressed up in European clothing, and she's wearing Quetzalcoatl around her neck as a feather boa. And then let's talk a little bit about what you're seeing when you're reading it left to right. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out and zoom in over here. You want to talk about this, Mrs.
So
White?
we're going to start with colonization. And so you can look through it. There's a lot of people who are very famous within Mexico. It's really hard for me to point each person out. So I'm not really up on Mexican history. It's not anywhere near. But they do have things like about the church that are back here with the guy with the dunce hats. Mm-hmm. And then there's a famous nun here, and she did a lot of writing and things, and she's very important. If you go into art history, you'll study her. Mm-hmm. So it's all about the colonialization of Mexico. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of unique because as you pass through this, you see a lot of, you see some few native peoples. But then as you go more toward the middle, they begin to get less and less, with the exception of the woman in yellow.
Yes, so when we're looking here at this piece here in the middle, you'll notice too that she's facing away from us. And it almost seems like she's kind of standing against these people here. And then when you move further to the right, that's when you see that things don't look as peachy and happy anymore.
Right.
We start to see somebody shooting someone else. We see people flailing their arms and fiery, what looks to be fire in the background. This is supposed to show the revolution that happened in Mexico.
Right, where the farmers were trying to get land to be able to have more things for their families. Mm-hmm. And instead of it being where just only a very few people did really well, they wanted to kind of spread the wealth a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so we actually see when we go all the way over to the left, I know this is in the way, there's these, a bunch of people. These are supposed to be basically showing the modern achievements of Mexico. And these people were important to the revolution happening and then the reformation of the government after that. So there you have it. I think we covered everything.
I believe so.
It's a lot to cover.
It's a lot.
There's a lot more than what we talked about. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.